Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience presented by Underdog. Today, a very special show with Ben Rasa from Stokastic.com. The Thanksgiving Day DFS picks. Ben, we do this every year, it feels like.
We do. And it's always, I always say to you, I'm not sure if salaries will be out. Salaries are out. We're ready to rock. And I love Thanksgiving. Is probably my favorite slate of the entire season.
It's one of mine, too. That's why I wanted to make sure that we got this one in and we got it out early, because I'm not doing the... We're canceling the me, Tambo, and John show for this week because John's off on Thanksgiving. Obviously, Tambo has a bunch to do, including winning the Millie Maker last night in the Showdown contest.
I saw that. Rams onslaught. Congrats to him. That game was horrendous, but you know what? That'll play. Good vibes heading into Thanksgiving.
He did say that normally he stays up and watches these games and has his sweat. I think he woke up this morning and that he was, I think it was a three-way chop. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't watch the game. I had to give up. I couldn't do it last night. That was just a horrendous game.
Yeah, I went to bed too. But yeah, no, it was a four-way chop. He ended up winning like $270,000 with a four-way chop for first prize. It's hilarious though, because he grew up this terrible mustache, and he said that he wasn't going to cut it off until he won a Millionaire Maker, and he won it 2 weeks later.
Well, maybe that's fitting because I just shaved. I'm on the opposite bandwagon, so I don't know what that means for me, but. Yeah, that'll do it. And there's crazy money on Thanksgiving. That's the other thing. If you get it right on Thanksgiving, that might be the time to do it.
Well, there's less to get right, obviously, with only a 3-game slate, but you can still have more variations than you would on like a showdown contest. I mean, you can play these showdown contests as well if you really want to. I like the full slate, though, the complete 3 games.
Oh, yeah, me too. It gives you, it's that nice blend because you have like some variety to maneuver. But it's not, 11 games. You still can get wacky. You can do some weird stuff. You're going to have your defense against your quarterback, stuff like that on certain teams and lottos. So I like those type of builds.
Well, let's jump over. Let's dig directly into it. If you're in the chat right now, you can ask some questions if you want to. Do you want to do this game by game, or do you want me to try to run an optimal?
No, I mean, we can go. I feel like every year we kind of just we go game by game and we do some type of stack within there, but dealer's choice, whatever you're feeling.
Let's do that. Let's start. Let's start with Green Bay and Detroit. Can you talk? Oh, apparently Tambo only won $29,000. What a loser!
Oh,
I thought it was the Millionaire Maker. It wasn't.
Okay, that'll still work.
Oh yeah, $30,000. I guess he split it a zillion ways. Then I assume everyone at Ship It Nation followed him along with it. Well, no, sorry, I took away $200,000 from you, Tambo. That's too bad. I'll see you. I'm seeing him in 2 weeks. He's going to be coming over for the Mayo Media holiday party. He missed out on it last year due to a giant snowstorm. So I think he can at least afford a sitter this year.
Yeah. I mean, he'll still. I don't know what that does to the mustache situation, but still a success.
So it was like a 500-way split for first place. Is what I'm gathering.
That's showdown for you.
All right, so Goff and Love, what are the highest? I mean, we're kind of doing like a first look at this as well because salary just came out, and now that we have, I mean, there's nothing really injury wise. The only thing I can see injury wise on this entire slate is Burrow's probably back, and T. Higgins is going to be out.
Yeah, and we'll see what goes on in the Packers' backfield, obviously.
Oh yeah, well, Josh Jacobs seemed like he was very close to playing this week, nothing else.
Yeah, I think that. If they didn't have a game Thursday, there's a chance they would have just pushed him in yesterday.
Do we just go onslaught with Detroit here? Like, is this the game that you think ends up shooting out? Because it's actually the lowest total of the 3 games. 49 for this, 51.5 for the other 2.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously interesting yesterday. That was, Jameis did all sorts of things, and Gibbs took all the production. The Lions' onslaught always has appealed just because of the way they distribute the ball when they're at home in particular. But to your point you just alluded to, Green Bay's defense, very legit. And I do think that's dragged down this total. But you're going to have weapons. I don't know. It's early in the week. The Jameson Williams thing, he's going to have, I guess, some of those games. It was shocking to see him not involved whatsoever. But I don't think that's a reflection of anything besides just random variance. fans.
Do you think that's going to cause him to be under-owned on this slate?
That's part of me thinks that, but then at the same time, you have 3 games. He's sub 5K now. I mean, I find that pretty damn appealing. Of course, I think the 2 guys that are mysteries for Detroit in terms of what people are going to think are Jamison Williams and Montgomery, because Gibbs was just so dominant and so ridiculous. Does that mean that Montgomery is truly now, playing a second fiddle, or is he someone to buy? He could still fall in the end zone. It feels like every Thanksgiving. Like Theo Riddick will unretire, come back to the Lions, and then score like 4 times this week.
I love that you brought up Theo Riddick because I brought him up on our live stream yesterday. I think that was one of the very first shows that we ever did together. It's like, you want to go all in on Theo Riddick here? He had like 9 catches and 2 touchdowns, and it was fantastic news. Do you think there is, and listen, it's obviously how the slate ends up playing itself out, but that one always sticks out in my head because obviously Detroit plays in the first game. Is there anything to getting your guys in the clubhouse? Like if you're going to take a sleeper on this slate, does it make sense to do it on this game because then you can pivot onto the chalk for the other games?
I mean, there is something to, and it's certainly probably underutilized across the industry with late slot, particularly when there's only 3 games. So I don't think you want to force anything, but yeah, it is nice to know, okay, if you get some of the pieces in the first game, there's not that many permutations left. And a lot of times if I'm doing a lot of entries, I'll make batches of like 2 or 3 that are the exact same, knowing that I'm going to splinter them as we get to Baltimore and Cincinnati.
Is there anything here? Let's say we go with the love side of it. Does that mean Does that mean we have to play Gibbs?
I mean, I don't think you have to play him because I think you could be different if you went with the love stack and you brought it back with like a St. Brown. I'm not saying that's completely, listen, it's 3 games, but I do think the large majority, I would have to imagine that Gibbs is going to be the pay up option for most people this week, and rightfully so. He's amazing.
And he is what, 15. He's the most expensive running back on the slate by $1,500. It's kind of crazy to think about. I guess it's the matchup that goes along with it too. But Gibbs is 8,800 on a 3-game slate, whereas Jonathan Taylor was 10 grand on a full slate yesterday.
That was insane. And obviously, we don't need to talk about JSN, but he's another one that's just going to have to start being 10,000.
Well, I wrote it up in the newsletter, and I released my newsletter this morning with all the injury updates and everything like that. But I feel like McBride is in that camp too. I know John Tambo and I talked about it on Friday. He's just not expensive enough for the consistency and upside that he has at that position.
Yeah, and they just throw it 60 times a game. So, but you see this. I mean, you're going to have a big gap. I mean, obviously Chase, when you look at all the salaries, he's back, but Gibbs is the most expensive guy in the slate. And I think you're going to be able to comfortably get to him, which is going to put the ownership even higher than normal.
So would that make you want to go all in on him? Because I mean, we're going to try to build 3-game lineups here and then maybe try to fuse one in the end. But man, I really wish I had played Gibbs in this lineup. I'm just looking at, I played the $100 spy yesterday with a Hurts onslaught with Pickens coming back and Trey McBride. It really worked out. It's just if I could have found a way to somehow use Gibbs instead of Chase Brown and Emmanuel Wilson instead, it really would have worked out much better for me.
Yeah, that's 60 spot came in handy. I mean, yeah, with a love stack, I certainly think Gibbs makes sense here. And then you can be very different within Green Bay. We have to see, you mentioned injuries at the top. I'd say these are secondary problems, but there's still questions. Golden, what's going on with him? Obviously, Wicks has been banged up. Jaden Reed, I don't know if he's expected back. I feel like he's been close, but I don't know if they've activated him, if they can, between these games. So yeah, we just need to know exactly who's going to be in behind Watson and Dobbs.
So he was designated to return on Friday, got in a limited practice, but then didn't end up playing against the Vikings. So there is a chance that he ends up going. So this could kind of be the skeleton key here. Obviously, we don't know if I assume Rashee Rice is going to play for Kansas City, but he did pull up lame with a hamstring, but ended up going back in the game. in overtime against the Colts. But like, if you can figure out which two that you want to roll with here, and the move might just be like Christian Watts has been clearly their number one over the past 3 weeks, more so than Romeo Dobbs in his outrageously large helmet. Same as Savion Williams. Like, he has a bowling ball helmet. It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, they do have some what are guardian caps?
I mean,
Whatever.
if you wanted to go kind of crazy in this game, you could play Savion Williams with the Packers defense. Like, is that more effective, do you think, on a slate like this, where you play the returner with the defense?
Oh yeah, definitely, because there's just a finite amount of there's only 3 games, and there's a chance, I'd say it's low, but there's a chance all 3 games are horrendous and they go under the totals and whatnot. And all it takes is a double dip. I mean, we'll probably be saying the same thing in about 10 minutes with Turpin, but yeah, I mean, you definitely can do that. And then there's just, I don't know if I'm shocked, but I thought that Musgrave would fill in a lot more admirably for Kraft. I really did. And that has not been the case so far. He's getting basically nothing.
He had 2 targets in each of the past 2 games, 1 catch. He was 2 weeks ago against the Giants, 1 catch for -1 yards. They didn't really pass in week 12, though. It feels like they're gonna have to pass in this game.
I mean, certainly if you're going to a love stack, you're thinking that this could be, I mean, these guys are sub $3,000. It's kind of crazy. You need them to fall in the end zone. That's about it. But that could be another way to get there. And yes, I know where you're going right now with Brock Wright, who he's not Laporta, but he's seemingly more involved than Musgrave on the other side.
He is. I think I would, if I was gonna. I mean, what tight end is going to be the big one on this slate? I guess the Kelsey Ferguson matchup. Gesicki came back and looked pretty good and really involved for the Bengals. And I guess Mark Andrews. This is probably the game. I mean, this is going to be the game with the cheap tight ends, but it's also the game with the worst tight ends.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, this is it's funny that for 3 games, I feel like there's like 15 playable tight ends, but most of them I feel like likely and those types are going to be tough. But yeah, I mean, you've got Love, Watson. I'd say a Love +2 with one of them definitely being Christian Watson is probably how I would go. And then I think you could have one big time Lion, Gibbs, and then you could take a secondary Lion for sure if you wanted to. Double dipping tight end in this game seems borderline irresponsible, but you kind of want to be very different at the same time.
Yeah, well, let's just throw in Brock Wright. That saves us a bunch of money, and we'll see how that comes through later once we start filling out this lineup. And screw it, let's put Romeo Dobbs in and just say this is the way that the game is going to go. Jacobs is banged up. Even if he comes back, he's not going to be as effective, but that also kills the value of Emmanuel Wilson. So you're hoping it's the big Love onslaught game and everything just runs through these 2 guys. And then Detroit can press it enough with an expensive Gibbs and a Brock Wright. You know what? This really feels like a Jameson Williams lineup.
That's where you can do that. I mean, you can certainly do this on main slates, but you're obviously going to have on a 3-game slate teams that have 2 big weapons without their own quarterback. And the Lions, because Goff is not going to run, all the points are funneled through the skill position players. So you're paying, that's 13-6 for 2. That's not bad at all. You absolutely can do it like this.
Where do you like defenses on this slate? Because I got a fun stat for you. You ready? In the past 13 games where the total in a Chiefs game has been 50 or more, it's gone under.
The Chiefs defense.
I was going to spin that and say Cowboys defense.
Cowboys defense. So that's one where Mahomes. That's going to be. I could see a world where I do some real weird stuff, and I have like Kansas City onslaughts with Dallas's defense. And again, I'm talking like the $5 to win $1 million style, because I do think there's scenarios where Mahomes is having to force it. And against Dallas moves the ball. I don't know how they won that game yesterday, but they do move the ball, particularly at home.
So maybe we should go. Let's just throw Ravens D in for now. I think like objectively, they're my favorite play on the slate. If I just had to pick a defense to play,
I would.
So let's just throw them in and see what that leaves us with. $6,200 per player. I don't think any of these tight ends are like it, if you know what I mean. Like, would you rather go Ferguson or Kelsey?
I'd rather have Kelsey.
Okay, so let's throw Kelsey in, and that gives us a running back and a flex for $6,800. So we can basically afford anyone we want. Pickens and Lamb are out there. Rashee Rice is out there, but we just did go with Kelsey. Where would you like to go with this? Because I think we can. I mean, we probably just played Derrick Henry in this lineup with Ravens D, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going very, it would probably be honestly, you could do Henry and Flowers if you want to isolate a bunch of Ravens production. That
I feel
should
like
work.
it'd be irresponsible to not have Dallas in this.
Yeah, I mean, I do love in 3 game slates. Something I really think is a good strategy is most people balance it is just like wash away a full game or certainly wash away a full team. I don't know if Dallas is the ideal team to do that with. Yeah, you could go. That's another way
I
to
think
do
that
it.
this is
lineup,
the trickier way because obviously like Dak, Pickens, Ferguson, Lamb, super overowned. What if it's just a 3-touchdown Javonte Williams game? And we just saw Kansas City's run defense absolutely lock down Jonathan Taylor. But that seemed like a concerted effort. Like, hey, here's our defensive game plan. Taylor's not beating us. You beat us, Daniel Jones. Whereas in this game, it's going to be let Javonte Williams run wild. We got to stop the passing game.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, this lineup, this works. Small fields, single entry, things like that. This is a pretty intact lineup. It balances really nice. You have a 3-2 in the first game. And then you've got, Henry with the Ravens defense. You have no Bengals on the team, which is interesting. And then you've got, a couple of pieces from Kansas City and Dallas.
Can we? I wonder how easily we can flip this to make it a Goff lineup. Because just get Goff at home is. I like the love side because I think if you had to guess, because I mean it's so early in the week when we're talking about this. Apparently, my location has I'm having location problems over here. All right, I'm in. We're good. But
all right,
to me, Green Bay Onslaught because it's expensive, but way more expensive. Probably, I guess it's not way more expensive. I don't think anyone wants to play Lamar. Do you?
No, because he's not really. I don't know exactly why, but he just seems unable or unwilling to be effective on the ground.
I don't think he can run.
Yeah, Lamar without running, he's still a very solid quarterback, but it's not the same.
Do we even really have to do anything to this? Like, we need to find $300, but like, do you think you could get away with playing Goff, Gibbs, and Jamison Williams and not playing Amon-Ra here?
Yeah, I think you could do that. I would probably continue to leverage. This might be a lineup where I actually put in Brock Wright, and just say like, okay, Goff distributes to everybody, and the touchdowns are going everywhere but St. Brown, and just do a Goff +3 minus his alpha target.
So where do we put in the next guy here? Do you think? Let's take out Kelsey and this probably is a Brock Wright lineup, right?
Yeah, I think so. And then you could probably take one of your Green Bay pass catchers and make them Dallas weapon on the outside.
So let's keep Watson in because he's the big play specialist. Do you prefer Pickens or Lamb?
I prefer Pickens, but I just think I don't know why. I'm kind of a George Pickens guy. I like him.
I mean, he's been awesome.
He really has. He's kind of crazy, but I kind of like him.
Then, I mean, what do you do with Jamar Chase on this slate?
Yeah, that's a real good question. Because now we have the inverse, it looks like. I'm assuming Higgins is going to sit. And we saw Higgins, no Chase. Now we've got Chase, no Higgins. Yeah, see, this is crazy. You can do a lot on this. Like you're not even that pressed.
No, we don't have we have 7,800. I don't think we can get Javonte Williams back in is the only thing. Yeah, we don't unless you got a $1,500 defense that we can go to.
Yes. Well, we could
also go instead of playing Henry. I mean, someone on the Ravens is going to crush this awful Bengals defense. I just got to figure out who. It feels like Henry if it's going to be anyone.
Go Zay. I like Zay Flowers.
He doesn't. I mean, Zay Flowers had a minus reception on his last catch of the game to put him back below his receiving total. So he's like in the doghouse with me right now.
That sounds like something he would do.
He suffers from like real fancy Tyreek Hill syndrome.
Yes, he does. He is juke. He's got a little Jerry Judy too, where he's doing dance moves for no reason.
I forgot about the Judy thing from yesterday. That was awesome.
That was I've never seen that before.
I'm a big fan of Shedeur Sanders. If you didn't know,
okay.
I think that he is. I wish he was on the slate. I would just onslaught him with all of his great weapons.
Yeah, with James Bond or whoever the hell that was. Yeah, I don't. It's a shame sacks don't count as negative like they do in college football because he would be
He only got
real
sacked
low.
once, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean the Raiders are just. I think the Raiders. Not that anyone cares about this, but the Raiders have to be the actual worst team. I think
Yeah, that would make sense.
they are
Cuss had
horrendous.
that same take. I actually still think the Titans are the worst team, but that's me.
Yeah, I mean the Titans are they're
Let's
bad.
go Bengals D. See what
Alright.
we can do here. Javonte Williams, put him
Yeah.
back in with Jamar Chase. Then we got $6,600 for a flex. Chase Brown with the Bengals D.
This is a flip of what we just. I like this lineup just because this is a little weird. You have no Raven, double Bengals skill position players, and you've got a Goff +3.
Goff +3. We have
No
a bring
Chiefs,
back. We
no.
have a Dallas. We have no KC and no Ravens. So basically, this
I like
story is
that.
telling that Baltimore might win or keep it close, but the touchdowns just kind of go all over the place with Baltimore, which it probably will if they score.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a world where a guy like Derrick Henry can have an effective game, and you don't need him per se. You know, if he has 70 yards and a touchdown, no receptions, that's not going to get it done at his price point, but he might do enough to mask Flowers, Andrews, likely all these gadget guys. Like when Mitchell somehow factors into this slate, just you'll know that I'm not going to have a good day.
You don't like Keaton Mitchell? That
Is
guy
that
has all the upside in the world.
what I thought that was Justice Hill. Like, what happened to Justice Hill? Is he just like not a
No,
thing
I mean
anymore?
the move was yesterday. Bet Justice Hill under receiving yards. That was like one of that's what the Sharp Stack computer spit out as the best play of the day because Justice Hill got hurt 2 weeks ago and didn't play, and then Keaton Mitchell ended up returning from his knee injury from last year, and then he just kind of started being the number two. That all of those snaps that used to go to Justice Hill, where it was all just pure receiving downs, like 3rd and 21, those just go to Keaton Mitchell now because he's way better.
Yeah, who the hell? Rasheen Ali. Maybe he'll be the
I think
answer.
Ali returns kicks for them.
Yeah, there's too many. Some of these teams have too many players. Devontae Walker. Yeah, the Ravens have so many guys. and
Tylan
most
Wallace,
of them.
don't forget about him.
Yeah, he's another one who he's always back there
Yeah,
returning
Jean-Luc
something.
Ricard is back there. Charlie Kohler is another one who could catch a touchdown. He's got guys. Hopkins, we didn't even mention him.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's the hell's cool. Yeah, they got too many guys. They got apparently Dayton Wade. I've never heard of that
Yeah, I
person.
don't know
in
who
my
that
life.
is.
That's not a real person. But yeah, that's a team. I feel pretty good about this type of build and having Cincinnati's defense. I know you leveraging with defense is always wild because the variance is so high, but anyone can catch a fluke touchdown. Anyone can catch a fluke fumble. You know, weird stuff happens.
As someone who has bet against the Titans two of the past 3 weeks, they have 3 combined defensive and special teams touchdowns in those games against good teams and more than paid off their price point, and they're terrible.
Yep. Yeah, against the Chargers, it was they started with like 15 free points. It happens.
Illini fan in the chat does ask, has Dak to Pickens replaced CD as the number 1 option in Dallas? No. We actually had this discussion like fully fleshed out on the Sunday Night Live show last. Oh, we also set up Cuspin. It was awesome. So we started getting a guest picker to come on the show, and like they'll end up like picking the games along with us when we guess the spreads. But it's cool. Like getting to interact with the viewers is awesome. We had them on screen and everything like that. They're making their picks against us. We're evolving it. But Cuss had like big reservations. He's like, you don't know what these people are going to say when they come on. Like it's not good. Like you haven't vetted them. So we coordinated it with one of my buddies who watches the show. I ended up meeting him at the Wyndham Championship last year. We met up for like a golf round when I threw everything out to the viewers. Like, hey, anyone in the area want to come meet up, play some golf? So Richard and I went out. He's like, what if I came on and gave my 10 best reasons why Hitler wasn't so bad just to watch his reaction? So I was in on it. He was in on it. Garion was in on it. And Jared was in on it. The only person who didn't know was Costa. It happens at like the 7-minute mark of last night's show. And he was panicked.
I'm gonna have to watch that after this. That that seems like peak entertainment that I'm going to need to
But
say.
he was saying that T. Higgins is better than Jamar Chase, which is an outrageous claim. But because it got down to like Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, and we kind of saw why T. Higgins isn't that guy. I mean, more so than just using your eyes just in general with like logical takes that Jamar Chase, Triple Crown winner, better than T. Higgins.
Mhm.
But T. Higgins is so clearly a number 2. I think that Pickens is better suited as a 2. He can be a bad 1 like we saw on Pittsburgh, but him just not having to deal with the number 1 coverage and being the focal point in the receiving game that the secondary tries to take away allows him to be his best self. So he might be the better fantasy performer and have the best stats with Dak on Dallas. But is he actually the number 1? I don't think that the defenses treat him as the number 1, hence why he's doing so well.
Yeah, I mean, there's always this thought. It's not exactly like basketball where it's like, oh, the number 1 guy's out, all these extra targets. But when you have an offense like Dallas, the targets were never the issue. Pickens was getting a ton. So it's just additional coverage. And you saw that with Cincinnati. Like he drew Gonzalez yesterday, and it was a lot harder for T. Higgins to operate. And now I think that's something that you want to have a balanced offense. And when you are the second guy, whether it's, when Miami was a real team, Hill and Waddle, there's a lot of them that come to mind like that. You actually can benefit as being the guy that they take away the best guy, and then you become kind of the premier option within your own
There's
offense.
a mini version of this happening with the Cardinals right now, too, that McBride is so clearly the number 1 that people had reservations with Michael Wilson stepping into the Marvin Harrison role, but that's the number 2 role in that offense, not the number 1.
Yep. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, it can be if the Raiders had a competent team and like Bowers, when you take him away, there would be someone, but there's no ability to do that. But yeah, there's a lot of examples of that. And again, if volume's an issue, I get it. Cause it's like, well, if you're the second wide receiver, you might only see 5 targets. But with some of these teams, the volume to go around, you can see 10, 12 targets and still be the second guy out there. No problem.
Yeah. So Tank says it helps when you're not in an Arthur Smith offense and have competent QB play. Sure. But just watch how defenses play Dallas. They focus on CeeDee Lamb.
There's no doubt.
Eagles, it was Adoree Jackson and safety coverage over the top against CD, and it was just one-on-one for most of the time. Obviously, you're going to shift defenses a little bit. But that's why Pickens was able to eat so much in that game. Like he was treated like the secondary option.
Yeah. Now I've been waiting infinite for Xavier Worthy to be an example of this, but he's not. And I can't get Kansas City right. I keep playing Worthy and it keeps not
Tambo
working.
has the best idea on this. On a main slate, just don't play any Chiefs.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've done, except I've done the direct opposite. I've been Mahomes +2. And now Mahomes he's running it still a little, but I'm still waiting for that Chiefs eruption game on offense.
If you had to program this slate, because obviously we get 2 really good games, Green Bay, Detroit. I mean, CBS got to be creaming itself for KC Dallas. That's like that's
God.
it. But if I know that before the season, Cincinnati, Baltimore looked like an awesome game. I mean, Burrow, Lamar, but both these guys are shells of their former self, and we still don't know exactly if Burrow's going to play. What would be like the other game to put in there right now, do you think?
In terms of a real matchup, or like who I want to say?
Like if you could if you were the network, I think it's NBC carrying that game. What do you think it should be the Sunday night game or the Thanksgiving night game? Is it like run back Rams Seahawks?
Yeah, I mean the West. Yeah, not like any combination non-cardinal of the West.
Seahawks Niners would be good.
Yeah, Seahawks. That's kind of where I was thinking. Seahawks Niners. I mean, Bills Patriots, I didn't anticipate saying, but obviously that's going to be one of the bigger games in a couple weeks. Yeah, the South is so bad. Like Texans Colts, but I don't want to see that.
No one wants to see that. See, CD is tied with Judy for most drop passes, and Judy's still the number 1 in Cleveland. He just sucks. Wait, this isn't an indictment of who is better. It's an indictment of how people treat them in an offense, hence why people can have the CD drop yesterday was weird. He has 8 drops this year. I think 4 of them have come against Philly in the opening game and yesterday.
See, they know how to defend.
And he had that brutal drop that killed a bunch of people on Monday night last week when he could have just walked in for the touchdown on that 4th and 2.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's been. I don't know. Dallas is
They're fun.
they're a
fun.
weird team. They are fun. Yeah, they can listen. They move the ball on anyone.
All right. Well, let's go to break and come back and do the rest of the games and build some more lineups. All right? Stay tuned. Look, I keep telling you about Omaha Steaks, and not every single person has got Omaha Steaks yet, so rectify that now, because they are the official sponsor of tailgating. But in the Pat Mayo household, Omaha Steaks is the official sponsor of the holiday season, because I got guests coming over, and they like meat, whether it be steaks, burger, deli-style franks, all the heavy hitters are coming in that cooler, which is so glorious to crack open, easy to make, throw it on the grill out back, and you're gonna be set up, no running to the grocery store, and you actually have food that people want to eat when they come over to your house. Shipped right to your front door. There's no off-season for flavor with these guys. Make game day delicious with the official sponsor of tailgating. Visit omahasteaks.com and get $35 off with promo code MAYO at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code MAYO at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. Ever get one of those scam texts that's so weird you almost respect the creativity? Like last week I got one that said, limited edition hover goat. No link click, but hey, it's points for originality, I suppose. And I was interested in a limited edition hover goat, I'm not gonna lie to you. I then Googled it. Turns out, not a real thing. Luckily, Cash App's 24/7 fraud monitoring helps detect and alert you for unusual card activity should someone gain access to your card. So you can act fast if something seems off. You can also lock or unlock your Cash App card instantly, right in the app for extra control and peace of mind. For a limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real. Just download Cash App, use our exclusive referral code, SECURE10, in your profile, send $5 to a friend, and within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right in your account.
Terms apply. That's money, that's Cash App. Cash App is a financial service platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debt cards issued by Sutton Bank. Member FDIC. Promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures.
Is Ben gone?
I'm here.
No, you're there. I guess
I'm
my
there.
mic was muted. Thanks, Jared, for not unmuting my mic.
I'm
I
in.
can speak really fast, by the way, if you
Okay.
didn't know.
Yeah, I was. I was immersed in what was going on the screen, and then I'm here though. I'm here. I'm back. I'm ready to roll.
See, this is good. Let's jump into Dallas and Kansas City. I know that you love that Mahomes side, but let's go to the Dallas side. I mean, is it just Lamb, Pickens, Prescott, Ferguson? Just go with everyone, or do you need to put in like a Flournoy or a Turpin?
No, I mean, listen. If you really want to be different, and I don't know why. Who was like, you know what's an interesting experiment? Let's put Turpin at running back. I don't think they're going to do that again because he immediately tripped and fumbled. But yeah, you can always do that because that guy can break one. But Dallas of the teams on the slate, I think is the one that I would be most surprised if a random Cowboy really factored in. They've got big weapons, and that's how I would structure.
Are you going to get your, who was it who caught the touchdown yesterday? This, whatever his name was.
He had multiple. Again, that's another guy. Even if you
Ford.
told me this is like a non-Ferguson tight end is gonna score, I'd be like, sweet, and I would jam Schoonmaker, and I would still lose. So I don't really understand who that is, but no, I don't think I'll be going back to whoever that was.
Let's get the latest on Rashee Rice. 8 of 12, 141. Haven't seen anything about this. I guess he's fine because he did come back, but like I would worry about DK Metcalf for the same thing too. Like he had that ankle injury, he left the game, then he came back and just looked wildly unaffected.
He did nothing.
So I don't know for sure. I assume Rashee Rice is going to play, but I wonder if he's banged up at all. Would Tyquan Thornton be a play here? Because he's still their deep guy.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the type of, if you're gonna do it, I always try to think about like what is the best. If I get lucky, what is the outcome? And at least with a guy like Thornton, it's serious upside. He's still playing like 30% of snaps. So he's out there just as much as like a Hollywood Brown. Him and Juju are those type of players. The difference is Thornton, I think, has much higher ceiling.
I agree. Because even if it's one catch, the catch
Yeah.
is probably for 55 yards and a touchdown, not a Juju special, like one catch for 4 yards.
Exactly. So it's like you might as well fully leverage. Yeah, you might get 0, but if you get 0 or you get 3 or you get 6 on a Thanksgiving slate, it doesn't really matter. You're completely cooked.
Yeah, I was trying to think of who, like, every lineup is probably going to have like a random dude in it. I'm guessing it's going to be whoever plays, whether it's probably going to be Yoshivas or Gesicki or one of those guys, because their upside, I would imagine, is likely more than a Savion Williams type of thing, because what some of these guys got to play if T. Higgins isn't playing. They're just simply going to be on the field a little bit more, although Baltimore is a very tough matchup here. How, like, outside of Thornton, like, what do you even think about doing at running back for Kansas City? Because I think Pacheco is going to be back.
Oh man, that will make it really difficult because obviously without him, Smith factors in a little bit. He's not a flat 0, but Kareem Hunt, even after the fumble, they seem more than content to just let him go. And he would be, if there was no Pacheco, I think one of the more popular plays on the entire slate at 53.
It's funny because I mentioned before, 13 straight games hitting the under for any time Kansas City is involved in a 50-point or more total. So if you pretend like this is, let's say that trend continues, not saying it will, but let's say it does continue, and it's under 50, I'm good with, like, I mean, I know that we're doing this game stack, so obviously that's not the impression that we're giving on this particular one.
Mm-hmm.
But in general on this slate, I'm good with fading, like, not stacking up at least the KC side, maybe even the Dallas side. I think I'm more interested in, like, individual parts of this game in particular and stack up the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, I do think this is the type of game you can definitely take pieces without. Listen, it's 3 games, so I'm not saying anything crazy. Pieces without the quarterback. I'm just trying to think of weird builds. Like, if there was a game where you'd feel confident, but double tight end in this game is obviously the most bang for your buck. And I don't think a lot of people are going to look to do that because it's an awkward build that way.
Would you go Lamb, Pickens, Ferguson, or would you drop, like, Lamb?
I think I would probably drop Lamb. I mean, if you go full onslaught and you do a 4-2, you could do it like that, but you certainly need that trend to break that we're talking about.
Of course, and with only 3 games, you have to take that sort of gamble. You probably need to throw in the Bengals defense at that point.
Yeah. Then you can isolate Gibbs if you want.
Yeah, you could go Gibbs.
Ugh.
Gibbs, not much. Gibbs, Montgomery. They just rush all over Green Bay.
That's not the craziest build I've ever seen, honestly.
Go, like, I don't know, Packers D.
That might be
Ravens D. Gibbs,
yeah,
Montgomery.
I mean, and you just hope that the Ravens win like 13-3.
Yeah, you're basically saying the other 2 games go under, and this is the game that shoots out. If you're just not going to use anyone from these games, because is there any other running back you could think of? I guess you could throw Kareem Hunt.
You could go Mitchell, your boy.
Yeah.
No.
Like the other way to do this is to take Kelsey out, use Kareem Hunt, and say, I don't care if Pacheco is back or not. Because even when Pacheco was playing, Hunt was still getting the short down work. And then you just move Ferguson into the tight end spot. And then you have 4,600. You can bump that back up. Like, you can then get Christian Watson to go opposite of Gibbs if that's the way that you wanted to play it. Let's see here. You can get Romeo Doubs.
Whatever his name is. Or you could slide in. If you go. That doesn't really help you. The Bengals. It gives you 5 and change.
It does, but I like the idea of playing the Bengals defense if we're just not playing any Ravens.
Yep. That's more than fair. And it's never a bad idea to leave some salary.
And on a short slate like this, yeah.
So,
let's see, who else could you jam in there? I guess you could get back up to, in this lineup, if you use Bengals D, you could just get Kelsey too.
yeah, I mean, that would be that's a legitimate onslaught of the game of 4-3, but
I think I like this better.
Same. I like this better because it's at some point there is diminishing returns.
Yeah, so what you would actually want to do here is take Christian Watson out, take Lamb out, move Watson into your wide receiver spot. And this is more important on this slate than I think. I know people aren't actually going to do. People who do this, Ben, I know we talk about it every single year, is put your later guys in the later spots just in case you need to late swap. But everyone who would do that knows to do that already. And everyone who doesn't do that simply doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, Listen, full disclosure, I've done that a million times where, of course, I do that, and then I'm not paying it. I'm like, ah, shit, the game started. So it is good to do, but especially, I will say with this, there are some news pieces that we are waiting on. So if we don't know, it is important because I certainly would like to know about. I mean, we'll get the news on the Green Bay wide receivers early. At least that is a nice plus.
Chat says getting the Dallas offense with Rashee Rice bring back seems like it could be a separator for the Detroit Green Bay stack lineups. I mean, those are probably going to be your two biggest lineups, aren't they? The Detroit onslaught and Dallas onslaught.
That would be my guess. Yes, 2 home teams with potent offenses.
2 home teams, potent offenses indoors, but also it's really the only, I suppose you could say it about the Kansas City offense, but between Baltimore, Cincinnati, KC, and Green Bay, those are more confusing offenses, which is probably the better way to attack this slate and just try to get it right because there's so many options there.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a kind of a delicate balance of, do you want to take the more known commodities, or there is something to be said, like a guy like Thornton, you know that your margins are really thin, but if somebody on this slate is going to spike a random touchdown, that's just how it works. And if it comes from like a Baltimore team, there's going to be a random guy that you probably want.
Do you have the what's that?
Just his lineup looks a little, you got the injury stack right now. I like it.
Well, Jamar Chase isn't hurt.
No, but it looks cool. You don't get to build like that too often.
So, do you have the snap shares from yesterday? All of them?
Yeah, I do.
Can you tell me the wide receiver and tight end routes for the Bengals? Because I know that it was Higgins, but then you had Tinsley and Yoshivas. Yoshivas went out for like a drive, but then he came back. I just really want to see what the breakdown between Gesicki and Fant was, because it felt like it was just a lot of Gesicki.
Yeah, so I don't have routes run, but I do have snap share. Gesicki was on the field 43% of the time, 28 snaps. Fant, 28% of the time, 18 snaps. Sample was out there a lot in there, of course, 2 tight end sets, but he's not really targeted.
What'd you say that Gesicki was at? Sorry?
43%. He had 10 more snaps than Fant.
What was Yoshivas at?
So all 3 of the wide receivers were out there about 75% of the time. Tinsley, Higgins, and Yoshivas.
Okay, so Tinsley is the guy that we need to play in this lineup, I think.
Yeah, that's the type of guy for the pay down options, he might be one of the more logical.
Yeah, if they're truly running these 3 wide receiver sets, which are now going to feature Chase and Yoshivas, Tinsley is just going to run wide. I mean, he caught a touchdown yesterday anyway, so why not with... We do think Burrow's going to play, right? I mean, yeah, it's very easy. You can just switch to Flacco if you want.
Yeah, it's not a big deal, but yes, I do. I do think he's going to play.
Here's the thing. I know that we're building out these game stacks, but do you think that Burrow's going to be any good a month early from this injury?
I mean, certainly not. He was never really mobile to begin with, but yeah, I mean, again, and you can use that both directions. If people are freaked out, I'll definitely have some Cincinnati onslaughts. But there's also a case to be made of Burrow is straight ineffective, and you can just say, okay, maybe some Chase Brown, but that's it. And I will target Baltimore's defense because they can really put pressure on him.
Well, would you want to throw in a Zay Flowers here? Would you want to throw in a Keaton Mitchell? Or do you think this is enough if you're going to stack up the Bengal side of this game?
I would probably put in a tight end, actually. I'd probably put in Andrews.
Yeah, Mark Andrews makes a ton of sense here. Just try to monopolize the goal line. Someone in the chat asked, thought you guys had Lamar for a breakout game last week. I played in the $150. I played my Lamar lineup and ran it through because I was working under the impression that, which I was correct about, that he's not running because he can't run. It's like, oh, they're playing the Jets. He'll throw all over them. He just didn't throw. He just looked terrible. Yeah,
I mean, it was... I thought Lamar was pretty interesting yesterday too, as well, and he just didn't materialize.
So we've been trying to use Ravens or Bengals defense in most of these lineups. If it's not going to be them, do the Packers make the most sense just because of the pressure that they bring?
I would say so. Again, you're not really pressed for salary. If you were, I would probably say Lions, just because how many people want to do that. But people will do that if they have money left over. But I do think the Lions, if you're not going to go to their skill position players as much, one way to negate that and leverage it is saying, okay, it's either short fields or maybe the Lions defense scores. And it hurts St. Brown or Gibbs, or maybe you go Lions Montgomery and hope he just falls in the end zone twice.
I hope it's the 3-touchdown Montgomery game.
Yeah, like when remember when Adrian Peterson did that?
Sure do. So then you can go. Hell, let's just throw Pickens in. Then you have $6,600 for a flex.
Chase Brown.
Yeah, this becomes trickier now though, because I do think that the pivot play from the Dallas game, if we're not going there anyway, is actually Javonte Williams rather than Pickens. Then 73 doesn't really get you anywhere is the problem. You could drop Lions and play Rashee Rice on the opposite side of him if you wanted.
Yeah, that's probably the more prudent move. And you go Ravens defense against your stack. Don't do that, but kind of.
I wouldn't hate doing the Ravens defense against our stack if we just didn't play any other Ravens. That's like the Jameis stack where you play the defense against him because he'll fuel both sides.
That's very true. And Burrow has that too, because if they fall behind, like Burrow has 50 attempt upside.
And he has 10 sack downside too, which is would be nice for the Ravens.
That's very, very true.
Are you interested in the Lamar side?
I am, just because I still believe it's there, but the problem with Lamar is just like, are we doing Lamar +2 or like I still used to build with Lamar as like a skinny stack because I was saying, okay, he's gonna run and then I'll pair him with a Likely or an Andrews, obviously Zay. Maybe you could, I mean, if you want to be very different, very, very different, you go Lamar and Henry.
Is that worth it to do on this slate with Gibbs out there?
Maybe. What about if you did all three?
And then you just find the biggest goobers to play wide receiver for you?
You go like Jameson, Tinsley.
Jameson Williams, Tinsley Watson,
Andrews at tight end.
and watch Andrews score on like a tush push or something.
That's exactly what would happen.
And then Cowboys, I get $8,100. I mean, fuck, throw Jamar Chase as a bring back.
I mean, you definitely could do that. You could go get the Lions D and take Pickens instead of Chase if you wanted to.
Lions D and Pickens, yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I'm putting this lineup. I'm gonna put this on Tails and post this. I like this line. This is my favorite lineup that we've built.
Really?
Yeah, because it's insane. This lineup is insane.
What is Tails?
Tails is our platform where it's actually, no joke, really sick. And if you haven't checked it out, go. It's just where we're housing all our betting and DFS content right now. It's free, and you push it, you can map it, you can tail it. It's really sick. It's an extension of Odd Shopper. We have our portfolio EV tools, but it's people dropping underdog cards over there. But yeah, Tails. I'm branding this the Mayo lineup, and I'm putting it over there for you. And
I like it. You're gonna get me in trouble with Sharp Stack, which is like a competitor. So I mean, it's perfect. Create that controversy.
That's what I'm about. You know me, Mr. Controversy. But this lineup.
This is it?
This is it, man. I mean, when I say it is relative. This is live to finish way in the dumpster. But I'm going to put this out there. I love this type of build. Who the hell's playing a lineup like this?
I mean, a lot of people now that you're putting. Actually, once you deem it if you called it the Ben lineup and threw it in, people would play it. But if you deem it the Mayo lineup, then no one will play it. It's perfect.
See, that's what I'm gonna. The Ben Mayo lineup.
That's nice reversed. Nice reverse branding on it.
Yeah, that's me. I'm a marketing guru.
If Pacheco returns, do you have interest in playing him at all?
Oh man, I don't think so. And I'm a Pacheco guy. It feels like you have to get so many things right. One, he has to be effective, which he really wasn't. And then two, he has to get the volume in a backfield where like I don't think Edwards-Helaire is like actually a factor, and maybe he would be inactive if Pacheco came back. But there's a lot of guys getting like 3 to 5 touches.
If Jacobs comes back, do you like him?
That would be more interesting because I think people will not be super keen to go to him, and that could be a cool way to leverage. Yeah.
He's just so expensive. Let's say he does come back. Would you have interest in Emmanuel Wilson at all at his price? Because let's just live in a world. Let's live in a world where Jacobs is out again. We didn't really talk through that scenario. Like, how owned is Emmanuel Wilson on this slate? 90%.
He'll be extremely popular. Yeah, and of course I'll have some, but I don't know if I would jam him just because I don't need the salary per se.
I think I like Kareem Hunt more if Pacheco plays, weirdly enough, because I think it'll just really cut into. No one will want to play him, but I don't know if his role. He'll lose out on 5 carries that he wouldn't normally get, it feels like. But he won't lose any of the high leverage carries.
Yeah, or the targets. I agree with that. I would rather have a murkier situation around Kareem Hunt, and there's a chance that his role is virtually untouched.
Yeah, and Pacheco's been pretty bad all year.
You really,
and now he's
I would
coming
know.
off injury against a Dallas front seven that actually looks really good against the run now.
Yeah, I mean, Kareem Hunt, as it stands right now, is going to be one of the more important players for me.
So let's close with that. Let's try to figure out who either the cheap guys are or the important players on this slate. I think we figured out that Mitchell Tinsley is one of those guys at $3,500.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for obvious value, and obvious is all relative, I would say that just because we just looked at snap count, these guys are on the field 80% of the time, and I don't see how that changes. You've got Watson and Dobbs; they're going to be there. Maybe like, what about a guy like Wicks?
I just don't know that. You could be right, but if Jaden Reed is back, does he even see the field?
Yeah, that's the thing. If Jaden Reed and Golden are back, I genuinely don't know what happens then.
Love by himself? But it doesn't even make sense to do on this slate.
That's just a really tough spot. Because like if Jaden Reed is back, I'm not gonna play him.
You bet his under like I did at the beginning of the year when they're like, oh yeah, he has massive injuries, and like immediately beats his over on the first play of the game.
Yeah, I mean he was rolling and then he just like destroyed his collarbone many times. But
Brock Wright, I guess, would be the other one. We didn't throw in likely.
Yeah.
Like that's something in this line. I mean, what has Likely done? It feels like nothing.
He gets like 3 targets. Yeah, he doesn't do.
He hasn't caught a touchdown all year since coming back from his injury in week 4. I don't really care about that for this slate. This guy says, don't forget about Dubs. Great target. But that hasn't been the case since Christian Watson has gotten healthy. Dubs has been kind of terrible.
Yeah, I played him yesterday and he was irrelevant.
And if more of them come back, I guess the Dobbs argument is that he seems to still be their preferred red zone option receiver once they get down there. And that could be more, but maybe a lot of it kind of coincided with, we thought Musgrave was going to be good, but Dobbs's downturn in this lineup both coincides with Christian Watson coming back and Tucker Kraft getting hurt. So maybe it's almost like we talked about a little bit earlier with Dallas, that Dobbs was actually benefiting from the coverage that Tucker Kraft was seeing, allowing him to be more open in the red zone.
Yeah, again, it's always a balancing act of like, the more unknown a situation is, and I would say Green Bay might be the most unknown of the 6 teams, the more opportunities you have, but also the harder it is to genuinely decipher, because I don't think we're going to know what type of who's going to be out there. I like, there's a lot of guys on that wide receiver conveyor belt that could factor in 30-40% of snaps.
The last one I wanted to look at was the Samaje Perine news, because Taj Brooks suffered a concussion against the Patriots, so that leaves just Chase Brown as their only active running back. We'll see if he ends up playing on Thursday. I doubt it, considering he didn't play last weekend. But Perine becomes like one of those Theo Riddick style players that if he came back, he might just pick up 9 catches if they fall behind. Like, he'd be a nice compliment to a Ravens stack where, hey, the Ravens are going to score 40 points. It's all catch up for the Bengals, just dumping it off to Perine. But if that's not the case, I know we didn't mix Chase Brown into many of these lineups, but he could just be awesome here.
Yeah, I mean, he's got crazy volume, can't be game scripted out. I don't know who exactly Gary Brightwell is. That name doesn't ring a bell per se, so there's not much behind him if it's his backfield. And we saw that even against New England, who I was really shocked that he ran as effectively as he did. New England's a good front, and he had some success yesterday.
He did. As someone who bet his under rushing yards, it was dead by halftime. I was like,
Yeah.
oh boy, that's not good.
No. So yeah, Chase Brown, it's not glamorous, but he can get there with, if it's 20 total touches, yeah, if he scores, he's definitely getting there. But even if he doesn't, PPR floor, I'm fine with him in basically any type of build.
All right, well, we'll submit that Lamar lineup. We'll get it on the go. The 4for4 optimizer will be loaded for all slates later on Monday afternoon. So 4for4.com/Mayo. If you use code Mayo50, you can get the DFS level, you can get the fantasy level. I get the sharp stack level because it gives you everything all in one, and you get a free week to test it out. So you get a bunch of big millionaire maker slates this week. So if you do want to use the optimizer and all the tools, 4for4.com/Mayo, then use code Mayo50, get that 7-day trial. I know OddShopper does well. Sharp stack is printing money for me, Ben. It's awesome. Basketball. Yeah. Basketball is where you want to be.
A lot of value out there. You find edges like that. It's fantastic. And this time of the year, basketball, college basketball's on, NFL, there's hockey. Not that I know anything about hockey, but yeah, it's a great time to be out in the sports world. And of course, I know I mentioned this, but just go to tails.bet. There's free content all the time over there. I'm going to be dropping a ton of bets today, and I'm putting that, I don't care. I'm putting that lineup up. And when it wins, we will get credit for it. You and me.
I listen, you can have all the credit if I actually win that, or me and you chop that $5 millionaire maker. I'll take like the 500 grand. I'm not crazy.
I'll
share it with my friends.
That sounds like a plan to me. I never do good on Thanksgiving, so this is the year we're going to do good.
I felt that way. I got bailed out so bigly yesterday with a lot of these bets. Like Atlanta coming through sweat free was very, very satisfying for me. I had a lot of money on Atlanta yesterday, but like I just kept getting booked. I had Chris Brooks over 5.5 receiving yards. He had 5 like right away. I was like, perfect. And then Minnesota didn't do anything the rest of the game, so the Packers didn't have to throw. So all my money got wiped out there. Sanders went over his number pretty easily, so I got wiped out there. It all came down to I needed a Trey McBride 17 yards at the end of that game in order to hit a 6-leg parlay on a player prop to like be up pretty big for the week. And then the Jags don't get it on 4th down. Arizona kicks the field goal. It goes to overtime, and he gets his 18 yards. It's like this could not have run out better for me. So maybe we're on a hot streak.
I think we are on a hot streak. I like that. Yeah, no, the Jaguars, they always come through in terms of doing stupid things. So that was something you could count on. I'm glad they're not on Thanksgiving. They're the least. I was trying to think about that. Who would be the least likely team on Thanksgiving? And I actually think it's the Jaguars. That would just never happen.
Yeah, maybe if they go do Thanksgiving London games.
Yeah, send them to Hamburg or wherever they were, Berlin.
The Berlin game was good. The international Germany games have all been good so far.
I don't remember which one was Madrid and which one was Berlin.
Madrid was Commanders and Dolphins.
Okay, that's not it. No, that's bad.
All right, at JazzRazBets on X. Thanks for joining me, man. Have a very happy Thanksgiving.
Appreciate it. I love talking Thanksgiving football. Like I said, good luck to us. Appreciate everyone tuning in.
Yeah, good luck to us. Smash the like while you're here. Thank you for tuning in. If you got questions, always dump them in the chat, and I will be back in about 30 minutes' time with the Monday Night Football prop draft with Ryan Noonan and Connor Allen. So please stay tuned for that. So until then, we'll see you next time.